Hello. Welcome to the midway point of the week. It is hump day, and this is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steen, the lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together, we do this each and every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. One of our cohorts here, Timmy Earl in the house. What's up, Tim? No, Tim does the show with his twin brother, Nick, along with Detroit Lenny every day at 5 p.m. Eastern time, game time decision. So, yeah, part of the Max Wagers Network family. It's good to be here. Scott, how'd your Wednesday go? Or your Tuesday?
It was going really well until the final game, because the Clippers kind of kicked my ass last night. And I actually live bet a tennis play in the afternoon. That worked out well. Baseball, I didn't really take much interest in because I was so focused on basketball. The Nets game worked out for me. A couple of props I had worked out. But then the Clippers came around. I had plus 3.5. And they basically covered 80% of the game and fell apart down the stretch. I mean, when you're up 7 with about 7 minutes to go and you're getting 3.5, you just need to avoid a complete implosion. And they completely imploded. Yeah. So I thought I was on the right side the entire way through, and it didn't work out. So overall, not the best of days.
Yeah, I was on that game as well. I took them on an alternative money line minus 4.5 at plus 235. That kissed that one goodbye. And yeah, it was a brutal finish there, Scott. I told you I was otherwise engaged and didn't make it home until the last 2 minutes of the game. But I was surprised. Yeah, I'll take the blame for that. I was surprised at the Timberwolves defense that held them to 104 points. That's well,
especially when we know Towns on the floor for about half the game.
Yeah, Scott Foster did his thing, and he tried to actually help out.
He
Chris
did,
Paul, and couldn't do it. Not even
Chris Paul, Paul George.
I mean Paul George. I told you I do that all the time. So, Yep, I didn't help out Chris Paul either, but.
It's one of those games where you really had the right side and it just didn't work out. I feel like people who had Minnesota minus 3.5 felt extremely lucky to cash it. That's all I'm saying.
I think if they're being honest with themselves, sure. Absolutely. Yep. Gregory Larson said, let's make some money today, gentlemen. I'm all about it, Scott. You want to make some money today?
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. Of course, you guys want to remind everybody out there to like and subscribe. Make sure you punch that thumbs up button on the video. Subscribe to all the YouTube channels, the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel, of course, and the Winners and Winers YouTube channel. And it's not just our show and Tim Earl's show on here. I know you did Total Chaos last night with Allie Burns and another one of our compatriots there, Sean Higgs, that does Midday Money at noon. You guys agreed on every pick, right?
It was unfortunate because, it's total chaos, but we actually agreed on every single play.
6 locks. 6 locks is what you got there. And, of course, then you check out Allie's regular show, Morning Wood. She does that every day, 1 p.m. Eastern, followed by Jim Williams, Chris King doing just parlays. And then 3 o'clock, of course, it's yours truly right over here, Truly Junior. And as we mentioned, 5 o'clock, it is Game Time Decision with Nick, Tim, and Lenny. And Sean Miller here going to be doing soccer soon, I believe. It's all about the money, says James S. Absolutely. Great, Scott, at Jumping Gigawatts. Very good. Like Steele doing a little Back to the Future there. I like that. JC Stone in the house. So, yeah, Scott, speaking of making money, you can do that if you check out DraftKings, because they've got a cool thing going for baseball. You bet $5 on any baseball money line, you get $200 in free bet credit. Of course, it's only available where the DraftKings app is available, and you must be 21 in most places, with 18 in a couple places. We discovered one of them was Wyoming. Scott, did you do some research on it to find out the other 18 states?
The big states, I thought they're on the document, but I guess they're not. So, no.
Okay. All right. Big help.
Cool.
I don't call him the best color man in the business for nothing, folks.
Fly ball caught.
Andrew Kolazedge. Sure, I'm going with that. I'm going to apologize in advance for fucking up your name, Andrew. He's got Man City on the money line tonight, Scott, or today. You like that play?
It's a little bit tricky because, of course, it's on aggregate, and Man City was up 1-0 going into today's game. Now, Atletico has been a pretty decent team in La Liga this season. They're usually better. Real Madrid kind of ran away with the entire domestic league. But it really depends on what Man City tries to do, because we know that they're a very possessive team. We know Atletico usually plays very solid defense. They basically parked the bus in the entire first leg, and now they're going to try to open it up a little bit more. It should be an interesting matchup. I am curious if Man City is going to be content with the tie, because that way they'll end up advancing on a draw. We'll see. For me, I don't mind it, because Man City, I do think, is the much better team. You can argue Man City is now the prohibitive favorite to win the actual Champions League, since Bayern Munich ended up getting upset yesterday and lost to Villarreal, which is a pretty big deal there. But for me, I'm going to go with Man City as well. I know that just started, but I do believe you will see a pretty tough matchup, but Atletico is going to have to go all out attacking at some point. Man City should hit him on the counter.
We also would have accepted yes. Yes, I do like that play.
I'm giving my answers, man. I don't get to talk about soccer that much, you know.
You're
so
right.
I'm making the most of the situation.
Showing off, trying to maybe get the co-host of the Sean Miller show.
Potentially, I don't know. I mean, soccer was a sport that I followed a lot more back in the day. I still keep tabs on, but you know.
Back in the day, well, you're fucking 12. What day are you talking about?
High school. I used to play FIFA all the time on the Xbox.
Okay.
You know what? That's one of the best ways to memorize or learn all of the players on teams. You get the video game.
Yeah, well, see, you can tell because I don't play it and I don't know shit about it. So there you go.
Just saying. But I was rooting for Real yesterday. They ended up having a nice extra time win over Chelsea. So we have a brand new champion because Chelsea was out.
Okay, there you go. The other bets are looking good for Andrew. He's got the Mets and he's got the over in the Detroit game. So yeah, both of those are looking good. Bruce Hayward says, can we discuss the Spurs versus Pelicans? Well, we were going to do 45 minutes on our favorite ballpark food, but all right, Bruce, I guess.
We might have to save that one for later, actually.
Mets have been choking late, driving me crazy as a Mets fan. Yeah, that's a
it's mostly the eighth inning.
Yeah, that's the little bit of a problem with their setup, man, as it were. Yep. Yeah, JC, I get it. I'm more of a soccer fan than I was. My writing partner in Los Angeles used to play professional soccer and played good college soccer player, and he kind of turned me on to some of the nuances. So I went from not at all a fan to a casual fan. But some of you guys have the soccer knowledge that I just do not possess. I just don't have the bandwidth.
I can imagine you watching the game just yelling out choice phrases like offside trap or like, come on, ref, he was on.
Absolutely. I will absolutely yell shit that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Park the bus. Like you're just start yelling random stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's totally. Now, actually, I watch World Cup and I'll watch some of the Champions League. So, I mean, I'm not one of these soccer turn up my nose and, oh my God, there's only one, then nothing. No, I get it. I get it. I only have so much bandwidth, Scott. That's all.
I was right about my lean over the weekend. I thought Man City and Liverpool would draw. I thought it would be 1-1. Instead, it was 2-2. They got hosed though, because I thought Sterling's goal should have counted. But whatever, is what it is.
All right, very good. Hey, and don't forget, we're also partnered up with Caesars right now, and they're doing they call it bet insurance. It's basically a risk-free bet, up to $1,100 your first bet. You must deposit, of course, I think $10 or more. So whatever your first bet is, if you win it, congratulations, you'll want to bet, and if you lose it, congratulations, you just got it made good by Caesars. And both the promo codes, by the way, the promo code for the DraftKings specials is WAW video, and the link is in the show description. And the Caesars promo is ATSWINS Caesar SZR. ATS wins Caesar SCR. The link there is present as well. So there you go. Check out both great offers. I love with all the new sports, but it is a great time to be a sports bettor, Scott. It really is, because
especially in New York.
Especially in New York, and especially in the new states, because there is just so many great offers out there. And take advantage of them, guys. You got to do it. So, all right, let's take a look and see what happened yesterday, shall we?
Well, I do want to ask you, by the way, what's the official rule on addressing a certain thing in baseball that you're not supposed to talk about? Let's just say Kershaw has a flawless resume so far through about 7 innings.
Yeah, so much. Kershaw, obviously a big fan of the show because we talked about him being washed.
I didn't say he was washed. I just said he wouldn't be a 1 or a 2 anymore, which still might be wrong. But yeah, he's relatively flawless through 7 innings, so you might want to keep tabs on that one.
All right, very good. I'm guessing it's colder than shit up in Minnesota because it's like 40 degrees here. So I'm guessing that same front blew through the Twin Cities. So I'm guessing
whatever the weather is, the Minnesota Bats are even colder.
Well, I know we've got some St. Louis people here, and that game was postponed. The Royals Cardinals game was postponed. So, Scott, we've got a couple things we absolutely have to talk about. So let's do it. Let's get to the action. Let's find out who took it in the shorts, who took it to the bank, who's the winners, who's the whiners, who has to pull out their flip phone and maybe call the wife for a ride because you're straying at the sports book. But most importantly, you got ripped off. You got to call the cops. All right, my friend. Let's start it off, shall we? In the NBA, we talked about it, but if you had the Clippers first half plus 1.5 against those awful Timberwolves, they led by 7 with 3:35 left in the second quarter, and in what would become a preview of the second half, they puked away the second part, the last part of the half. Minnesota, the end of the half, on a 15-6 run. Clippers, you were up by 7. Now you're down by 2. Congratulations. You had Clippers plus 1.5. Ooh, so close, yet so far away. Call the cops.
And for baseball, if you had the Brewers and the Orioles over 9.5, you had 8 runs in the first 3 innings. So you're golden. Except you weren't, because they put up 1 run in the rest of the game. Game landed 9.
And finally, hey, remember this game? How about if you had the Clippers plus 3.5?
The first half and the full game by the same team. I don't know if that's ever happened on the segment, has it?
I don't think so, man. It's deja vu all over again, kids. They led by 7 with 7:15 left. All they got to do is close it out. Close it out, baby.
Not even close it out. Just don't get killed.
Just don't get killed. Well, they got killed. The Minnesota ended the game on a 23-11 run. Clippers, as you know, lost by 5. Holy shit. You had the Clippers plus 3.5. You had the Clippers on the money line. You had a Clippers team total over. Fuck it. Call the cops.
I don't even give a damn about the potential matchup on who the Clippers might play. I'm rooting for whoever wins tonight. Clippers are dead to me. I'm done. I can't. You can't blow it like that. Come on.
I told you
that was so embarrassing.
I told you Tyronn Lue sucked.
I can't, man. I can't. I mean, Towns fouls out. You give up 2 serious runs without their best player. Really? Like, what are you doing? Come on.
You excited for Memphis and Minnesota? You think we're going to see some points there?
Well, Minnesota won the championship yesterday, right? I mean, they broke out the champagne. They had a full celebration because they made it into the bracket. Did you think they went overboard on the celebration postgame?
My wife was watching that with me. She goes,
"The season over already?"
She said, "I thought the playoffs just started."
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? Yeah, that's although baseball does it. I'm surprised that baseball, every time they win a series in the playoffs, they fucking break out the shit.
I don't really mind it because Minnesota. I was just teasing. Minnesota's been through a lot in every sport for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Or no, pretty much ever since Kirby Puckett. So they haven't really had much to cheer about. It was a good win for them. One of the most important games in franchise history. Tells you a lot about the Timberwolves. But either way,
would they have been there with Flop?
With Flop Saunders, no, they would have been way down in the standings. But for Finch is a good coach, I mean, he gambled and let Towns stay in the game. He picked up his 4th. But for me, I think Memphis is going to kill them. I think they might win a game, but Memphis has the scoring and the depth. And the Clippers offensively, really not that great. Was that your takeaway? Because Paul George did really well. Reggie Jackson was awful down the stretch, but he was pretty good for I'd say half the game. And Norman Powell was good. That's basically it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Memphis has like 7-8 guys that can get you a bucket on any given possession.
Yeah, that's really who we talked about. And unfortunately, that was the only guys that were good at all. So
for me, Minnesota, Towns, I don't want to say got exposed yesterday, but he kind of did because he's still extremely soft. He's afraid of contact. He yells to the refs all the time. But besides Russell, Edwards, and Towns, do they really have anybody else offensively? They throw in Beasley a little bit. That's kind of it, right?
Yeah, and Beasley seems pretty inconsistent.
That's what I'm saying. So I just don't think that Minnesota has enough scoring depth to match up against Memphis. I'm not picking a sweep. I think Minnesota will win one game at home, but I got Memphis in 5. You?
All right. I don't see a way that Minnesota competes with them day in and day out.
I think they'll win one. I'll give them game 3.
I think that's really the only question is whether they win 1 or 2.
Yeah, so. But I think Memphis, assuming Ja is healthy, they should really steamroll them.
Quick reminder, all the folks listening at home, we thought Minnesota was going to get steamrolled last night. So
they were on the pace to get steamrolled, and then they had a couple of runs there.
Then they expanded the games to 48 minutes instead of 40.
They did, yeah. I mean, Clippers were up 10 with like 9 to go. You felt decent about your shot.
God, you were just embarrassing. I'm sorry I was on the same side as you. You got to fucking move on, dude. It happens.
I can't, man. Can't.
Over
Ty Lue. I flipped on Ty Lue just to flip right back. Man.
I know.
It's not right.
All right, buddy. There was some good news yesterday. Maybe you had one of these games. Doesn't sound like it. Nice, easy victories. No 25-11 runs. No ninth inning heroics. Nobody stopping scoring after the 3rd inning. No, just nice, easy wins. Just sit your ass down and enjoy the rocking chair.
By the way, separate note, they pulled Kershaw. Mid-perfect game. Ooh, at 80 pitches.
80 pitches?
They pulled him.
Ooh.
I don't know if there's ever been a combined perfect game, but I think you gotta let him try it, right? I mean, it's the first start of the year, but unless he perfect with 80 pitches. I mean, come on.
Unless he has to come out. I mean, you're 80 through 7, so you're not even throwing 12, so you go 24, you can bring it in for 105 or less.
Just let him see how quickly he gets through the 8th. I think you try.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, whatever. Anyway, back to the rocking chair. If you had the A's and the Rays over 8.5, you had 8 runs in the first 2 innings, and the game landed 17.
By the way, congratulations, rest of America that has that Minnesota Twins Dodgers game. I have the Braves and Nationals. I couldn't fucking be happier. Like, they don't even let me watch the Minnesota Twins because I guess they're in our division on the free game of the week.
MLB really has a disastrous cable blackout plan situation going on. It's really bad.
Couldn't hate them more. And then that combined with trying to fight Bally's to get them on fucking streaming for the Royals, it's fucking brutal. Mm-hmm. All right, Scott, if you had the Giants on the money line against the Padres, they led 6-0 after the 1st inning. No shenanigans. They just fucking put their foot on the throat and said, take that, you bastards. They win 13-2.
And the last one, if you had the Mets and the Phillies under 8.5, you had 1 run in the first 7 innings combined.
And then
the game ended 2-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they held on this time.
They loaded the bases. They hit a double, loaded them up again. Grand slam, boom, Bob your uncle, tear that fucking ticket up. No, sorry.
Nope, just 2-0. That was it.
Okay, I promised we would talk about this, and we absolutely are going to. Sometimes we have to stretch to kind of award these, and sometimes it's just so obvious that we can't help it. I want everybody to guess right now. You don't have to say it out loud. Just guess in your mind. Guess in your mind who's wearing the golden feed bag today. Scott, it's hump day. It better be good. Who's the donkey of the day? Somebody has often suggested it sounds like the donkey is being violated. I don't necessarily discount that possibility.
We didn't ask the origins of the actual.
No, we did not. So, Scott, you happened to be watching the Timberwolves Clippers game last night, and I missed this. I told you guys I went to the Santana concert, and it was excellent, by the way, of course. But I didn't get to see this in real time. But there was a young lady, perhaps a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. I'm guessing more just a fan of being in a place with a lot of people and TV cameras. Her name's Alicia Santurio. She glued her hand to the court, Scott, during the play-in game. And I'm not quite saying it's the up to the conspiracy level of the lights going out in the Niners Super Bowl, but the Clippers kind of came. Can I say it, Scott? Can I say they came unglued after that happened?
I feel like the one thing Minnesota was missing during the entire game was another glue guy on the roster.
I saw a picture on Twitter You could see her fucking handprint with the super glue, the crazy glue, whatever, where she put it on.
I think the part that annoyed me the most though was Minnesota went on a run right after the glue thing happened.
That's what I'm saying. It's a conspiracy. Now, we talked a little bit about this, Scott. Do you know why she was upset? Do you know the point she was trying to make?
Killing small animals.
Farm animals.
Chickens, something.
She's upset because Glenn Taylor, by the way, majority owner of the Timberwolves, apparently kills chickens and using VSD. Now, I did a dive on this because that's the kind of respect I have for you as an audience. You guys want the facts. You want to know what's going on. I'm here to tell you. VSD is apparently an automatic chicken door closing system that you can run via remote or manually. I don't know how it kills chickens. I immediately thought of it because it was like they said like a chicken flap. So you could, sometimes the flap would be open, sometimes it'd be closed.
I'm imagining like a trap door underneath, and like the chickens just fall through the trap door.
See, I'm getting some kind of vibe of the farmer just fucking with him, like his friends over. Like, watch this. The chickens are streaming out the door. All of a sudden, he hits the off switch. The door just stays shut. You've got 100 fucking chickens just running right into the door.
He just turns to A-Rod. Watch this. This is going to be hilarious. Just hits the button. Yeah.
Feathers flying, squawking to beat the band. A fucking chicken pile that continues to grow.
So it was something environmentally, with chickens or whatever, and she felt like it was worth, making a statement. I'm sure the owner was happy about it because she paid about $500 to get in.
They generously referred to her as an animal rights activist. So
is that what we're calling it nowadays?
Yeah, that's what they're calling it nowadays. All right, I'm dying to see comments. We needed a banana peel sound in that game. Yes. I'm thinking of a fried chicken sandwich. JC Stone, chicken deep dive, great entertainment. It was right there.
The only thing missing was during the commercial break as that was happening, just brand new Popeye sandwich. Like, you just needed one commercial just to segue into it. It was just right there for the taking.
At Hardee's, we're changing the game with the brand new chicken sandwich. Okay, so entertaining night all the way around. Rogue Strummer, maybe related to Joe, said
a banjo as a profile picture.
Oh, does he? Oh, nice.
I'm in.
So perhaps he's related to Flatten Scruggs, Earl Scruggs, probably the best banjo player of all time, in my opinion. Anyway, my uninformed banjo opinion. Clippers got outscored and outplayed, or outcoached and outplayed. End of story. Hard to argue with that.
Down the stretch, definitely true.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, Finch had the disastrous move of keeping Towns in with 3 fouls in the first half. I don't know how you let Towns pick up a fourth, but yeah, I mean, the game was there for the taking. It was basically over. Towns fouls out, and Lou didn't really do anything offensively. It was a bunch of crappy jump shots.
Oh, was Lou out there playing?
No, but I'm saying based on play calling, you figure, you're missing your starting center. The other team's missing their center. Maybe you go to the rim. You have Scott Foster calling fouls in every play. Maybe you should go to the basket. Maybe. Is that too crazy?
No, I don't know. You think would you bring that on Lou though? Do you think Lou had him in the huddle and said, "Okay, whatever you do, don't go inside, but make sure you take a bunch of contested jump shots"?
Well, it seemed like they were really trying to force Paul George to carry them to the finish line, which just resulted in a bunch of ISO fadeaway jumpers. Run some plays, set some screens, get downhill, go to the basket. That's how you got a 10-point lead in the first place.
Is there a sport you couldn't coach?
Me?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know enough about
advice. In every sport, you pick a coach and you're like, you fucking tell them how to do their job.
I still like Ty Lue. I just think he had a bad game.
Okay. All right.
But when it comes to coaching, I think I'd be okay. I don't know enough about the X's and O's. But I think just based on actual overall themes on what teams should be doing or how they should be taking advantage of situations, I do think I'm quite perceptive. My opinion.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, nobody has an opinion like, oh, this is my opinion. I'm usually fucking pretty stupid about my opinions, though. So take that with a grain of salt. I mean, nobody's
just saying.
Okay. Thanks, JC. If Hardee's needs anybody, or Arby's guys, We've got the meat. That's a terrible read, but yeah, I could do that. Okay, so let's talk about these two basketball games tonight, Skeets. I know we've got to play on one of them. Bruce wanted to talk about the San Antonio New Orleans games. We're going to talk about that game a little bit later. Do you have any feelings on, let's say, randomly say the total?
Well, the total was randomly my play of the day.
Okay.
So I got the under.
Okay.
I got it at 226.5. It's now at 224. So I beat a pretty decent line move there. It's everything we thought about, just even conceptually, playoff basketball. The classic cliche. You expect the refs to swallow their whistles more. You expect a slower pace. And both playing games went under yesterday. So I'm expecting more under money. The regular season meetings, 3 of the 4 had below this total. I think it's too high. I still like the under. You?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you as well. Of all the games, I will say this: of all the games, this is the total I would be most tempted by to play the over. I still think it goes under, but it would be with the New Orleans defense. I'm actually not a believer in either one of these defenses to play a great defense on a consistent basis.
That's fair. I'm just expecting New Orleans, who ranks 21st in pace, to try to slow the game down a little bit.
I still lean under. But of all 4 games, this is the one I would most like the over.
I think the one that scared me the most was Atlanta. And Atlanta's total is interesting because it's really, really high. I mean, 3 of the 4 meetings went under in the regular season, but at the end of the day, you're looking at Trae Young and LaMelo, and we know Charlotte and Atlanta are both awful defensively. So that's why it's kind of a situation where even though the total is high, that's the one that scared me the most. I still like the under in that game. I think it's too high, but that's the one game that gave me a bit of pause because Atlanta and Charlotte might just start a track meet and nobody's going to stop.
There you go. Yeah, Bruce, 4-1, top 6. 1 out, nobody on for the Mets as they bat. So, the other game tonight, Scott, is the Charlotte-Atlanta game. I've got a contrarian play on this as my play of the day, and that number is getting a little friendlier. What's your thoughts on the side on this one?
Sorry, can you just repeat the game? The Hawks game?
The Kansas City-Oakland game?
Yeah, the Hawks game?
The Hawks game. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like this line's where it should be because Atlanta was so bad during the regular season on the road, but really, really good at home. And Charlotte's been kind of even at home and on the road. Of course, Gordon Hayward's still out. They tied the season series at 2 apiece. So these games have been pretty close. I really didn't have much of a thought on it, to be honest. I mean, Atlanta's been awful against the number this season. They're 28-34 ATS. Yep. They are good at home, though.
They're decent at home. Everybody keeps saying that.
And they're good straight up at home. They're not great ATS.
Right. It's only because they suck so badly on the road does everybody go, well, they're good at home. They're 22-18 against the number at home. And the one that really scared me, Scott, as far as Atlanta goes, is they suck against good teams. 15-26 against teams with a winning record.
Yeah, for me, I really find it hard to thread the needle because I think Atlanta's going to win the game. So I guess blindly I'm leaning Atlanta. There's no chance I'm taking the actual spread. I have no interest. But I will tell you right now, whichever team wins this game tonight, I'm picking to beat Cleveland.
Okay.
You?
Solid.
I don't think Cleveland's very good.
Nope. I think that's a solid prediction. Yeah, this Charlotte team, they're going to have to be able to shoot a little bit from 3-point land because the 2 games they lost, they shot 11 and 25% from downtown. You can't
talking to you, Rozier. Make your shots.
You can't fucking have that. So you've got to have them shoot 30% or better, maybe even 32% or better. And I think they're live, not just for the win, but not just for the cover, but the win too.
Yeah, Merbilia, they do favor the home teams. That's why I guess I'm leaning Atlanta, but I'm not going to play the side. But I really think that Atlanta and Charlotte match up quite well against Cleveland. Now, of course, it doesn't matter for the sake of this game because, you're focusing on the game after. Cleveland will be favored for that game at home, probably by, what do you think, 2? 2.5?
I was going to say 2.5 or 3, yep.
I mean, besides Garland and Mobley and a little bit of Kevin Love, do they really have much? Like I think Cleveland's at least a year or two away from doing anything meaningful. Sexton getting hurt definitely was an issue.
Yep.
And LeVert, I didn't like the trade when it happened, and he sucked last night. I mean, of course that's one game, but LeVert really has not been that good with Cleveland. You?
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think both of these teams are superior to Cleveland as they stand right now. I wanted to get back to this game for a second because not having John Collins, I think, is a huge deal for Atlanta.
I think it is, but he hasn't played for like a month, so they're experienced without him.
I understand that. And the one game they played without him this season, they lost by 10 to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, they should have a massive rebounding edge, but for some reason they haven't. And in 2 of the first 3 games, Charlotte out-rebounded, and that was with Collins. And then they pushed on the last game. They each had 43 rebounds, but like I said, Charlotte won by 10. So that bothers me because that's the one place they should be able to take advantage of him and not having a guy that puts up 8.5 boards, 9 boards a night, like in Collins. Even
I think if I was going to play this game for Atlanta, I would just take Trae Young 30 plus and Atlanta money line, because I think if Atlanta's going to win this game, Trae's going to have a huge night. Now there is a chance it could be from assists and maybe not points, which has been tricky because Trae's been so good at both this season. But if Atlanta's going to win and potentially cover, especially cover, they're not winning by 6 or more unless Trae goes off, right?
I agree.
So yeah, I would parlay the 2 and maybe get some extra plus value on it.
Yep, you can absolutely do that. Bruce Hayward says the Nets and Celtics are going to be epic. I'm surprised Boston didn't pass a new COVID law yesterday that everybody inside the arena on the court has to be vaccinated.
Be a move.
A very, very specific law, and it only runs for 2 weeks.
Well, I thought about putting this for Oddsmakers Were Drunk because there was an interesting development right after the Nets beat the Cavaliers yesterday. The Nets opened up at around minus 130 in the series at some books. I saw DraftKings at 145, which is just insane.
Right.
So the Celtics were underdogs at home for the entire series. And shockingly, money poured in on Boston.
Pounded Boston, right?
And now Boston's around minus 110, minus 115, whatever. So Oddsmakers were drunk a little bit because they took an avalanche of Celtics money. So I don't really know why the Nets opened up that highly. I find it kind of weird.
Maybe they think the Nets they wanted to hold that position.
Well, Time Lord might come back mid-series, which is also going to be important to mention. But as a Nets fan, I think they'll hang around. I don't think they're going to get killed. I got Boston in either 6 or 7. They really need KD and Kyrie to go nuts basically every game. And I think Boston just has more depth.
Yeah, I agree. It does. They don't necessarily have to run their offense through one guy. And I mean,
and they play defense.
One and a half, and they play defense. This Nets team, and plus they've got the problem again, haven't covered at home. We talked about it yesterday, and they certainly could have covered. They could have covered. They couldn't have covered the 9.5. I mean that number seemed, but 8 seemed in reach. But they couldn't get home again. So,
it'll be a war.
Do you even have a home court advantage for the Nets there?
Yeah, I assume you do because you're still gonna have a full crowd. Of course, anytime you get Boston out of the Garden, because the Garden is such a big home court advantage, I do think it matters. But I'm assuming Boston's eventually going to wear down Brooklyn. If they even neutralize or limit KD or Kyrie, so let's just say KD goes for 40 and nobody else on the team scores more than 20, they're going to get killed, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. I can't go with the Nets, and I'm rooting for the Nets. And of course, I think they need Ben Simmons to come back at some point if they want any shot to make a run.
Is he in shape yet?
He's been working out. That's the thing. I don't know when he would come back. I'm not going to bank on it. If Simmons was healthy to start this series, I would take the Nets. But he's not, so I'm going to take Brooklyn. I'm going to take Boston.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, I have to go with the team that has more depth. You can somehow limit those guys. If you can limit KD and Kyrie, I mean, what do you think if they can hold them to 30 or less? Those two guys, do they win?
I think they got a good chance to. Now you can make the argument, well, what if the Nets limit Tatum or Brown? And the counter argument there is, who the hell is going to guard either of those guys in the Nets? Because they don't have many great defensive players.
Yep.
Which is why I think Simmons is so important, because he is that perimeter defender they need.
Yeah, they're obviously they didn't get him for his offensive prowess.
No.
All right, very good. Just looking at
Memorabilia, I don't know about that. I see the Nets players talking to Simmons. I'm not going to read into all the emotional stuff of, are they fans of him? Are they not? Media outlets for different sides have different arguments. It's like politics. You don't really know what the hell's going on. But
did you watch him on the bench when you went the other night?
Did I watch him? Yeah. I mean, I saw him yesterday as well on TV. He's talking to like teammates. He's getting up. He's cheering, whatever. But I'm not going to read much into, do they like him or not? I mean, does it matter? He's under contract for 5-6 years. Like, he's going to be there for a while. Get used to him. Like, whatever. If he's ready to play, he's ready to play. If not, then whatever. I mean, I don't think the teammates are going to avoid passing him the ball. Like, no, they're going to wait for him to come back, and if he comes back and he's ready to help contribute, they'll accept him with open arms. They're trying to win a title. I don't think they're that petty. You?
Yeah. I agree. You don't. Well, first of all, you don't know what the locker room's like, and you don't know.
That's the point. The point is nobody knows. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, so somebody knows, but nobody on Twitter or nobody.
Yeah, you can try to read body language, and some Twitter sources or outlets are going to tell you they don't like him. Some say they will like him. You're not going to know anything. Yep. Wait for him to get on the court and see how the chemistry goes. That's how it's going to work out.
You know how they're going to like him if he does his fucking job.
I was going to say, if they win. If they win, they'll accept.
That's right. That's exactly right. Bruce talking about Doncic's his injury. Scott,
I had triple-double, so I'm on Jason Kidd's side here because he tried to get me paid, and Doncic got injured. So that was rough, but he tried.
From a coaching standpoint, was that the right move?
No, of course not. See, the situation that Dallas had was that they were going to advance to the 3 seed if Golden State lost to New Orleans. And New Orleans, McCollum on Twitter announced, which I loved, by the way, don't put me in any of your parlays. I'm only playing 5 minutes and I'm done. McCollum said that on Twitter. Of course, not verbatim. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but that's exactly, right. That's the same gist of what he said. So Dallas knew that New Orleans wasn't going to care. And Golden State opened up a double-digit lead in the second half. So Dallas at that point was playing for nothing. They really shouldn't have been playing Doncic at the end once Golden State blew the game open.
Right.
So, yes, Jason Kidd screwed it up.
Made no sense. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to rant against another coach and tell us how much better you've done the job.
See, Jason Kidd, I did witness as a player, one of my favorite players of all time as a Nets fan, but I also saw him as a coach. Did I think he was a good coach? I thought he was fine. He did a great job this year with Dallas, so props to him there, but he really butchered the ending of that. Now, of course, the counter argument is, well, you can't predict when a player's going to get injured or when whatever, but what's the point? You're not playing for anything once Golden State blew the game open against New Orleans.
Well, that's like saying, well, you can't predict when your car's going to get totaled. Sometimes it sits in front of your house. Sometimes you're out driving around on the highway.
Sometimes you're on the railroad tracks. I mean sometimes it just happens,
Right. I mean, that's like saying, well, you never know when the guy's going to get injured. Well, when he's not going to get injured, most likely he's sitting on the fucking bench. That's when he's not going to get injured. So that's just stupid.
It was a fluky injury, but still, he shouldn't have been on the court.
Again, this fluky injuries, where they don't happen when you're sitting in your goddamn chair.
Especially in the last game of the season.
Right. Right. That's okay. All right.
I think that series, though, I have to approach from a game-by-game basis, right? Because I can't imagine how I'm supposed to lay roughly 200 with Utah because I hate that damn team. Or you potentially wait, and when Doncic comes back, maybe you take an in-series play. But I am going to ask you, do you think Dallas can even give Utah a bit of a run without Doncic? And by run, I mean win 1 or 2 games.
You don't believe in Spencer Dinwiddie?
I like Dinwiddie. I like Brunson. But that, once again, Utah does have Donovan Mitchell, who now is easily the best player in the entire series. You can argue Gobert, whether you like him or not, he's the second best player in the series right now. So Utah definitely has more talent. Now, am I going to once again say that Utah is going to sweep them or anything without Doncic? No. I think Dallas can win a game or two. They're going to try to tread water. You win as many games as possible, and if you are desperate, Doncic will come back.
Here's my prediction. He's not 70% for any of those games.
Not at all.
If he plays, 70% will be his absolute ceiling somewhere late in the series.
I think if they lose game 1, Doncic is playing game 2. Whether he should or not, it's a separate story.
Yep, agreed. Jazz and 6 talking about the
I don't like the Jazz, but that's the only way you can play this series, right? If you're going to play it, I think -1.5 games, and you just hope that they go down 2-0 without Doncic, and you're up 2-0.
Yeah, and it sucks because Dallas has the early games at home.
Correct. So you can be looking at a potential sweep if you take both games on the road.
That's what I'm saying. If you got the 2 games most likely to not see Doncic play, and then you go down 0-2, or maybe you sneak one out and go down 1-1, and then you have to go play in Utah. So
I think I'm going to look at it from a game by game basis. I might just blindly take the under in some of these games because without Doncic, I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Or they're going to be scoring. Exactly right. Milwaukee and Chicago. Somebody was talking about they're all over Milwaukee. You and I talked
bloodbath.
I talked about that on Monday. As far as the odds go, Milwaukee plus 750 last time I checked. Is that still?
You mean Chicago's?
Chicago. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Milwaukee -2.5 games is what? Like -200, -210?
That's the last I saw. Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. So Chicago to win a game might be worthy of a parade because they got absolutely bodied in the regular season. Milwaukee took them behind the woodshed. And without Lonzo coming back, the defense sucks. They are 2-22 against top 6 teams in the league.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. We've even taken advantage of it on some farms.
I think Milwaukee wins in a bloodbath.
Bulls team just doesn't beat good teams. They just don't.
I'm not sure if they will spare the women and children, but they will definitely murder the entire team.
It's gonna be marauding. Gonna be fucking marauding, people.
Pillage. That's what I'm saying. Milwaukee by pillage.
It will be pillage. All right, my friend. Well, we're anything else you want to talk
about? Not really. I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about. You got some hockey, but the truth is just back the teams that are actually playing for something. That usually bodes well. Money lines are huge, but the Kings got there yesterday. They are playing for something. They ended up beating the Blackhawks. So my advice at this point, just back the teams that actually care about the games. I don't think that's a hot take, but of course that's my main hockey breakdown right now. No, it's kind of it. I mean, we got one game that we're saving. A lot of baseball games this afternoon, so there's really not much to talk about. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Because I feel like we were kind of just waiting on one game.
Any baseball games have your attention tonight? Robbie Ray goes again for the Mariners against Keuchel.
Oh, that one's tricky because the White Sox are so good against lefties, but I like the under in the game. Seattle can't hit.
Yep.
I don't know why, but they can't hit.
Your problem. Corbin Burns looking to get right against the Orioles and John Means. Montage, we'll see how he is.
Good. I'm kind of annoyed though. I like Tampa run line yesterday. They won, but in extras.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. They scored 9 runs and they couldn't cover the run line, which is a pain in the ass. But I mean, Oakland's offense has done well in the Trop, so maybe an over if you want to expect both teams to play well offensively. Maybe.
Okay. Bruce said he needs one baseball game tonight, buddy. One baseball game. Okay, let me look. I got to see what isn't going on, what hasn't gone on yet.
I mean, I think it would either be the under in the Brewers game or the under in the Mariners game. I mean, you could go under in the Yankees game, but Berrios and Cole struggled in their first starts. Cole was better late, but Berrios has an ERA north of 100. So I kind of want to wait and see how good Berrios looks. But you have Robbie Ray, who's been good. The Mariners can't hit. I would probably just go with the under for the Mariners or first 5 under. I think you'll see a lower scoring game there.
I like Brewers Baltimore. If you got to play an under, I like Brewers Baltimore.
Okay, I think you can go either way. What's
the
total on that Brewers game? 8?
8.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Burns bounces back, and Means is about the only decent pitcher Baltimore has. So.
Oh, by the way, also a reason why I do like the under. I think I'll pivot and agree with you. The Brewers are disastrous against left-handed pitching.
Yep.
They are awful.
Yep, we've talked about that before. So yeah, hopefully some of this stuff it'll get ingrained in your head about how the teams hit against left-handers, right-handers, et cetera, et cetera.
But if you want a fun stat though, the Brewers have faced off against Justin Steele and Bruce Zimmerman, both lefties. They have scored a combined 0 runs against those two starters. Zero.
Not good.
They cannot hit lefties. So yes, I do like the first 5 under in that game.
Yeah, they've scored less than 3 runs per game, and that
I mentioned the lefties
against lefties.
Goose
Yep, even worse. Not good. Not good. All right, buddy. Well, let's take a look, and the last thing we have to do here as we roll. 1-4 Marlins have scored more runs than the Mariners. That's a great stat. 1777. Very nice. All right, Scott. It is time. It is hump day. It's time to put on your hump day overalls. Get your straw hat out. Climb aboard that John Deere. Pull out your lucky keychain. And get ready, kids. It's time once again to bet the farm. All right, there it is. I don't know. Afternoon. I don't know why neither one of us rock these hats very well. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't think I have it curved enough. I think I need to bend it a little bit.
You look like you ought to be on what was that Sidney Poitier movie, Lilies of the Field or whatever, where they're all out working in the sun all the time. That's...
Gorillas in the Mist?
Huh?
Gorillas in the Mist?
Not what? No,
I have no idea.
You got your Jane Goodall hat rocking. Yeah. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Scott. I know we had a Bet the Farm play for yesterday. How did it go?
So we actually won something in that Clippers-Timberwolves game. We had Patrick Beverley under 10.5 points, and he went under.
Cue the banjos! Yeehaw! That's a little something for a rogue picker there. Mm-hmm. It's a little banjo for you. All right, Scott. We do have one for today. What is it going to be?
So for this one, we're going to go to the one game we didn't talk about between the Spurs and the Pelicans. We're going to take the road team. We're going to take the points with the Spurs at -110 on FanDuel, +5.5. San Antonio did well in the regular season, won 3 of the 4 regular season meetings outright. Plus, San Antonio, very good against the number on the road this season. The Spurs are 24-16-1 ATS on the highway. And if you want some trends, San Antonio owns this team. The Spurs are 7-0 ATS in the last 7 meetings in New Orleans. And the Spurs are 8-1 ATS in the last 9 meetings overall. On top of that, San Antonio is finally healthy again because its best player, DeJounte Murray, is back from illness, averaging over 21 points per game, over 8 rebounds per game, and over 9 assists per game. San Antonio got its best player back, and they've dominated the regular season series. That's enough for me to get 5.5. I think they got a good shot to win the game.
All right, very good. I feel the same way. I like. I'm on both dogs tonight. I know you weren't as committal about the other one, but we definitely both like this one. It's the Spurs +5.5. Pops, you can't count out Pops. Come on. All right, there you go. That's going to do it for Bet the Farm. That's going to do it for the Wednesday show. As always, we appreciate you guys stopping by. We especially appreciate all the comments and suggestions and jokes and picks and everything else that goes on in the comment section. We have no hope of getting to it all, but we see most of them, and it's some funny shit out there and some good, valuable information. So you guys are the best. Take it easy. Have a great day. We'll be back and wind this ship up again tomorrow, Scott, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Once again, Scott and I will be here to do our very best to help you in your journey to head back to the